Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank the Busan Museum of Art for inviting me to this fantastic symposium. Especially your preparation and your hospitality has been really, really amazing. I feel very full right now. My presentation is separated into roughly two parts. I will first make an introduction about the museum and then about the current exhibition titled Machine-Love. So this is where we are located. From the beginning, the museum dedicated itself to making Roppongi Hills a model for future development in urban planning, where the best in contemporary art and architecture from Japan, Asia, and the world will be shown. The museum opened as a cultural symbol of Roppongi Hills in October 2003 at the top of the Mori Tower, which is visible from throughout Tokyo. And this is the four main pillars of our museum: exhibition, collection, learning and community, and into the city, which I will go through very, very quickly. The museum is known for delivering large-scale exhibitions with ambitious installation. This is an installation by Chiharu Shiota. Solar exhibition is central to our exhibition programming, especially our series of mid-career retrospectives of many Japanese and Asian artists. The gallery space is 1,800 square meters, and oftentimes this is quite a big gallery size for emerging artists, and oftentimes we really have to collaborate and push the artists to fill the entire space. And we really want these mid-career retrospectives to be a stepping stone for artists to advance their career. We also produce large group exhibitions organized around universal themes that are in dialogue to current developments in society and in art. This is our exhibition, Art Ecology. And another exhibition series I would like to highlight is the Roppongi Crossing. It is a triennial exhibition designed to offer a comprehensive survey of the contemporary Japanese art scene at the moment. In Japan, there are many biennials and triennials, but they are mostly international in their scope. And Roppongi Crossing is one of the few exhibition series in Japan that provides a snapshot of the country's contemporary art in a regular occurrence. And I wanted to bring this up because Kim Heiju, who is today's speaker, we are working with her to develop this exhibition, the next exhibition that opens in December this year. And we also have a series of smaller exhibitions that accompany the main show. Mom Project is a series that invites artists from around the world to produce new commissioned works. This is an installation by the South Korean artist Hyun. And Mom Research is a series that sheds lights on artists and art movements of contemporary Asian art which have not yet received sufficient curatorial or academic interest. This series seeks to reveal the historical context of contemporary art of this region through archives and artworks and through a close collaboration with scholars and experts from Asia. This is a show on the history of Asian American art movements, which I organized with a scholar in New Jersey, USA. Moving into collections, we didn't originally start as a collecting institution, but began its acquisition in 2005, 2 years after the inauguration. And in 2015, we initiated the Mom Collection exhibition series, where we show kind of a collection, a selection of works from our inventory. And this is the rough categorization geographically of our objects, total of 476, which is not a lot, but we're not a public museum. This is a corporate collection, so we don't really have the responsibility to tell the history of Japan or Asia. That's the National Museum of Arts and Contemporary Art Rules. And learning and community engagement programs are very vital in our operation. And what is really unique in our approach is that we oftentimes work closely with the Mori Building. Mori Building is an urban developer in Tokyo that really cares about fostering the local community through a variety of methods, including arts and culture. The company has a department dedicated solely on community engagement. And these programs could be roughly divided into 8 categories, and total participants we counted between 2018 and 2023 went up to more than 62,000 people, which is quite a lot. So the question of how to bring local communities, agencies into the exhibition is also important for curators and educators. So openness, porosity, breaking down the museum walls are key ideas. And one of the example is a project I worked with the Colombian artist Oscar Murillo. We realized his international art project called Frequencies in Public and Private Schools in Tokyo. This project reaches out to schools to fix raw canvases onto classroom desks over a period of several months, encouraging students from age 10 to 16 to cover them freely with their own drawing and marks. Of course, installing a raw canvas in schools was a challenge, especially in a country where there is a kind of a strict educational protocols. But we were able to realize this project because of the trust we really cultivated with the local schools throughout the years. Importantly, this project was conducted during the pandemic, where social distancing and masks were mandated on school campus. So the experience of interacting freely with the canvases was really a therapeutic experience for many of the students. And the outcome of the project was realized as a month project exhibition. I'm just gonna skip through these because of time. We also manage public artwork. So this is Louise Bourgeois and Yoshitomo Nara's one of the large sculpture that is now in Azabudai Hills, which is another urban development by Mori Building. And Roppongi Art Night is an annual festival that happens at Roppongi Hills, and this is also organized in conjunction in collaboration with the Mori Building. This is a large installation by the Korean artist Che Jong-fa. So moving into Machine Love, currently the Mori Art Museum is showing an exhibition titled Machine Love, Video Game, AI, and Contemporary Art, which I co-organized with the museum director Mami Kataoka and our adjunct curator Martin German. The 3 curators are not necessarily specialized in digital art or media art, so we really learned as we went along. This piece is by Beeple, the American artist. And of course, we have Ayeon Kim. And the exhibition explores how contemporary art utilizes game engines, artificial intelligence, and other digital technologies to imagine new ways of making art, delivering new sensorial experience to the audience, but also examining ethical, social, and even spiritual concerns related to the innovation of these technologies. In addition, the show explores how the concept of avatars, world building, speculative fiction, and Afrofuturism are affecting today's cultural production. And most importantly, one of the important discussions we had among the curators is to really explore what we really mean by intelligence when we talk about artificial intelligence. Other artists in the show is Lu Yang, and Taiwanese artist Xu Jiawei. His Silicon Serenade was inspired by the fact that 99% of silicon used to make semiconductor warfares, which is an essential component of today's digital technology, can be extracted from sandy beaches. By looking at the latest technologies from the perspective of minerals and geology, his work encouraged us to see the hidden relationship between production of digital technology and extractive industry, as well as the massive infrastructure and energy consumption needed to sustain this digital realm. Jakob Stensen from Denmark, is known for using 3D animation, sound, and gaming technology to create immersive works that bring to life often overlooked natural phenomena through virtual simulations. He stated that he hoped to infuse intuition, sensibilities, and environmental forms of knowledge beyond human intelligence into our future technologies and AI. And Anika Yi sees technology and machine intelligence not as tools, but as a collaborator or partner for her art making. Rather than reducing machines to bits, binary, and rigid cogs, she questions if they can be more fluid and evolving and if artists can introduce a more visceral, emotive, or sensing aspects of technology. And finally, Calculating Empires by Kate Crawford and Valadan Yoder is a 24-meter map that charts the intricate relationship between technological development and power of the past 500 years. So this is, I mean, it's still hard to see, but this is a more of the detail. And this is a quote from Kate Crawford, which I think really speaks to one of the central concerns of the world that we're going to live in. And it's really about she raises, as a question, raises the lack of transparency of the AI industry as a major issue. And we can easily agree here that among ourselves that AI by no means are natural or neutral. Whose interest does it serve? What social practice and industry does it optimize and prioritize over others? And this is another quote that came through our research. One extraordinary development is that centrality of art, creativity, style, and images to this epochal shift in technology, since normally, of course, technological development don't care about art at all. And this is an important statement, I think, because right now, many AI startups, they are actually very interested in working with artists in museums because first of all, it is really difficult to define and develop intelligence or creativity. And with their unique worldview, contemporary artists can really provide interesting ideas to these developers. But this also places us in a very tricky position, since art, or even anything, can be easily exploited by giant tech companies. But at the same time, it is difficult to imagine a future that is less digital or a future less governed by the operation of AI system. So it really raises a question whether artists or museums can participate actively in this phenomena, making visible the invisible forces behind the AI, and consider a form of intelligence that is not oriented only towards efficiency and productivity. So one of the learning programs that we organized in conjunction to this exhibition was through a collaboration with an AI startup called Anthropic, based in San Francisco, where participants can learn to use and handle different AI systems. This workshop echoes Katie Salin's concept of transformative play, or Paul Levinson's tinkering, which through play reveal the inner working latent potential in the limits of digital media. And this workshop is, of course, our first experiment with collaborating with AI developers, but it might come to demonstrate an important model or opportunities in which museums can learn together with the audience to develop a critical mindset and attitude toward this new technology. And this is the last slide. This is a quote by Adrienne Maree Brown, she is a writer, activist, and community organizer, whose writing is mostly based on the work of the science fiction author Octavia E. Butler. And really speaks to the idea of futurism, a term that frequently appeared already in this symposium. So futurism is a philosophy of sharing a vision of the future with a group of people to engineer collective desires and vision towards the future. It is also an aesthetic and political methodology that traverses the domain of visual art, music, literature, cinema, fashion, and grassroots activism to redefine cultural identities and reimagine alternate possibilities in the context of ever-evolving technoculture. Most importantly, it is a process of discovery. It discovers the forgotten traditions buried in the past, resuscitating intelligence, knowledge, experience, and beauty in order to empower one's creative mind. So as I was preparing for this exhibition, I began to see the role of museums differently. Indeed, museum is a rich reservoir of intellectual, creative traditions expressed through its collections, objects, and other forms of artistic practices that we inherited from the past. So can we activate these legacies to imagine alternative technological models or future visions? Or is there a place for artistic intelligence, to quote my co-curator Martin Gehrman, as we begin to live through the age of artificial intelligence? So thank you.